Technoblade was my hero. For any of you that don't know me personally, Technoblade has been my idol for the past 3 years. He's been my favorite for all that time, the one I always rooted for and supported. My family knew him by name from just how much I talked about him, how I brought his plushie with me on every trip, and how much I talked about him. He was cool, a master at the silly little block game, a comedian, and a comforting voice. He's everything I ever wanted to be, and why I felt the push to start actually uploading content when I had been dreaming of becoming a YouTuber ever since the early beginnings of YouTube. He was just a guy. That was comforting to me because I was just a person myself, and yet he had become so incredibly impactful to me. I met new friends through him, I found new interests, I gained motivation and so much joy from just some guy. I wanted to impact someone like he did me. I wanted to talk about some of his most impactful moments to me here. A thank you to him, in a way. I first grew interested in him during the duel between him and Dream. I didn't know who he was all that well, but I had been a fan of Dream's manhunts and cheered for him to win. When he didn't, I was disappointed, but also curious about the man who outplayed Dream himself. I watched The Great Potato War and quickly became a fan, even more so when he joined the Dream SMP and became one of the most infamous characters. Every victory, I screamed and jumped with excitement. Every crumb of lore was revered as law. Every interaction with others made me laugh. I daydream about just meeting him and talking to him about everything I could think of, from cake flavors to my own dry jokes I dreamed about making him laugh with. I remember making a cosplay, one of my first cosplays in a very long time, and making fan art of his character after having been so adamant that I wouldn't ever draw fan art again. I got back into fan fictions, their stories so strongly impacting me and making me think deeply about myself. To think that I'd never read those works without that connection Technoblade provided. My longest piece of writing I ever made was a Technoblade fanfiction. Just him in a world of my own, fighting danger and overthrowing governments. Of course, being a badass and being himself at the same time. In high school, my friends would tease me for my passion, calling his name to me in a babied voice whenever I'd start excitedly rambling about him. I never actually minded. I was just happy knowing they understood how much he meant to me. When I graduated, almost my entire portfolio was full of Technoblade fan art, making multiple major pieces as my final art project in my senior year. I still remember when some freshmen came up to my presentation booth, excited because they had recognized him. In college, I met friends this way too, attending art clubs after classes and peering over a shoulder to see a Philza and Technoblade sketch and becoming absolutely enthralled. Or when my roommate filmed me in my Technoblade cosplay for a project and I ended up just walking around campus in my cosplay, not quite ready to shed the skin of my favorite character, and students would come up to me excitedly asking for pictures with me. I remember Halloween, I decided to actually be a sheet ghost and sprinted across moving traffic to tell someone in a Technoblade costume that I was a huge fan. I remember sitting in a bathroom stall waiting for his newest plushie line to release in the midst of an audition callback, with the excuse of saying I needed to use the bathroom very urgently at that very moment so I could unashamedly punch in my credit card numbers before any of them sold out. I took the original plushie with me to the mental hospital. I took him with me to wilderness therapy and fought tooth and nail to get him to me because I technically wasn't allowed to have it. I brought him to every vacation since I got him and clung to him every night. He's a lot dirtier now, a number of shades more gray than before. I certainly cried a lot on him. I lovingly dubbed him Technoblade. My friends have been messaging me, asking me if I'm okay. Of course, I haven't responded to barely any of them because I don't know what to tell them. I'm not okay, and that's okay, I think. I've never dealt with this kind of grief before. I watched the video holding his final words when I had my friends over for a bonfire. We were all just chatting about something small, maybe discussing future hangout plans, when the notification came up on my phone. The title made me worry, and at first I thought that Technoblade had decided to retire from YouTube to recover. I stared at my screen, no longer really processing what his dad said after that, and turned my phone off and stared at the fire I had built maybe an hour beforehand, my eyes wide and my head in my hands. One of my friends called my name, worried about me. I didn't mean to shout that he was dead, but it came out that way, and all my friends went dead silent, Before some of them started saying it couldn't be real, it wasn't real. Before long, I was hearing his last words from 4 different phones as all of them investigated the video from themselves, and I didn't feel like I could breathe anymore. They all knew what he meant to me. They're the ones who used to tease me, after all. I broke down sobbing in front of them, and it took me a while before I dumped some water over the fire and went back inside, sobbing with every step. They did what friends do best sometimes and just kept me distracted. We watched videos and movies, and I ended up falling asleep watching a nature documentary with them. My jokes about the animals on the screen made them laugh, made it ache a little less. For a while, I wasn't really sure what to do with myself. I guess I just wanted to grieve and process healthily or something, but what does that even look like? He was more in my life than almost any of my family, but he didn't know me personally. The closest semblance of interaction I've ever had with him was him sending a Discord message right after me in the Technoblade sponsored Discord server, after all. He's in my room, on my desktop, on stickers, on the back of my phone, on the cover of my diary, on my desk, on my phone wallpaper, on my water bottle, on my favorite hoodie, in my Discord profile picture, in my personality, in my jokes. He's a part of who I am. I can't not think about him. I can't avoid it. Yeah, I can't handle thinking about how many things were robbed from him. How I didn't even fully get to watch his last stream. How he didn't finish that big build he started on the Dream SMP. How I'll never get to watch him interact with his friends again. How he didn't get to retire despite all of his jokes about his retirement funds. I thought he was going to win over cancer. I thought he had won. I was patiently waiting for him to recover, I thought. Technoblade never dies. He'll never die for me. I'm not going to change my wallpaper. I'm not going to put away my plushies. I'm not going to stop drawing him and writing fan fiction. He'll stay alive in my heart no matter what, because he is a part of me and a part of my identity. Even when it's scary right now to keep all those reminders near me. Even if it hurts. Because it's going to hurt no matter what. Thank you, Technoblade, for everything you've done for me. Technoblade never dies.